Fairmont people in the house.
I'm assuming so, yeah.
Who here today was at the Field Irish Pub downtown?
You there!
Come on!
Go on, the boy this. Hey, what's happening everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. You know, it's getting closer and closer to that precious Easter weekend, of course, which is my least favorite holiday, but you know, it is what it is. And so what I wanted to talk about today was when I went on a J1 last summer to San Diego. I went there for 3.5 months, close to 4 months actually. And as you can see here by this jumper I have, I bought it when I was there. I actually didn't go over with any jumpers at all, which was probably not the best idea. It is like extremely sunny in San Diego. It's extremely warm, but it does get a little bit chilly at night time. It gets a little bit windy, so you know, you kind of do need a jumper at least, or something of that effect. So before we get into the entire video, you might be asking yourself, what is this J1 program you speak of? And so a J1 program is where you go away as a student to America or Canada for, you know, about 3 months, 3.5 months, sometimes 4 months, sometimes even less. And you go away for the summer, you work as a student, and you basically travel, you explore, you go to as many places as you can. You basically live the American dream as a student. And having done this, having, you know, done the J1 last year in San Diego, I would highly recommend it, absolutely 100% recommend it. And yeah, what I'm going to do is basically give you 4 tips that I believe you should hear, that I wish I had heard when I went on a J1. You know, maybe if I got that piece of advice, I wouldn't have forgotten my passport on the, you know, going to the Mexican border. Maybe I wouldn't have just gotten a random, you know, stranger's car in Vegas when I thought it was an Uber and he started driving us to the desert or something like that. I mean, I don't know, man. And maybe on my first week I would have not actually, you know, booked us into some, what looked like quite a fancy hotel, but it turned out to be in the Mexican ghetto, about 5 minutes from the Mexican border, and it literally had Mexican gangsters pretty much everywhere, and we were right beside like some dodgy strip club that wasn't even a strip club, but it just had a stripper on the bar with loads of veterans giving $1 tips. I don't know. To be fair, I probably still would have done all of them anyway, but nonetheless, I'm just gonna give you, you know, some little bit of advice that, you know, I wish I had been told before going. So there are 4 main things that I believe you should hear when going on a J1. So pretty much before you go over, you have the choice of booking with either Use It or Say It. Now personally, they're both not the greatest, but if I was to pick between the two, I'd pick with Use It. They were the ones I went with. I went with the premium because you get a job with that pretty much handed to you. All you have to do is show up to some jobs fair. It's that easy. And see, Use It tells you to bring around, you know, $800, which, you know, that's kind of what you're recommended to bring. So $800 as a minimum kind of amount. So that's around, what, €700? I tell you for absolutely definite that this is nowhere near the exact amount that you need to bring. For me, you need to bring at least about, you know, $2,000, which I think it works out around about €1,900 maybe. I don't know, I could be slightly off there. And the whole reason for that is you do not want to end up as broke as me. At one point, I mean, literally, we were living off boxes of wine and we were pouring them into bowls because we didn't have any cups. I mean, yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's not that bad. But yeah, so I would recommend bring about $2,000 with you. You know, if you have accommodation prior to going over, which you most likely don't, then fair enough. You know, maybe bring like 1,000 or something like that. But if you don't have accommodation, bring those $2,000, and that's, you know, you want to have a place booked before you go over, at least for a week. Prices in hotels there really do add up over time, and you know, sometimes the hotel you go to will not be what you expect, and then you will end up having to leave that hotel, go into a different hotel, and this can add more money, more problems, and no boxes of wine. And try and save as much as that money as you can. Like, don't go around spending on ridiculous things, you know, like ridiculous food that you don't need. The only food you should ever need to buy is Chipotle, 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 Chipotle. Of course, there are a lot of things, you know, you need to save your money for. You need to save money for rent. You need to save money for, you know, going out to the beach or something like that. But of course, you need to save money for alcohol. This is the most important thing that you need to save money for.
Great photograph.
That's a good picture.
That'd be savage. Imagine going around that thing.
I'd say that's a little animal.
Yeah. And so my second tip is for you to have as much people going with you as possible, or at least to move in with a lot of people. Basically create a large group of people, maybe eight or nine of you basically, for when you go over and for when you move into a place. And again, this kind of cuts into what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about cutting your costs, saving your money. And again, this is something very, very similar, you know, because think of it this way. If you've got 3-4 people, if you're going over with 2 or 3, you know, your rent is going to be very, very expensive, like it was for me, because I went with 2 people. However, the main way to fix this problem of really expensive accommodation is to just, you know, have a lot more people, have large people. Who cares if, you know, you're going on Facebook and you're messaging random people? So what? You know what? Just be mates, drink loads of wine, eat Chipotle, buy some chicken fillet rolls for each other. I don't know. Just meet up in town, go out in the Lash or something like that, and things will be fine. Things will be good, and you will cut your accommodation down to an absolute minimum, and you will be able to just do the things that I couldn't do because I was living on Chipotle and, you know, someone's ends of wine. Like, not even the wine itself, like the ends of it. Do you know how... It's tough, man. I do not trust that traffic light over there. And so my third point... Did I run out of toilet roll again? Fucking hell, man. The third thing is that you do need to have your wits about you. You know, America is... It's a strange place, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. I much prefer it in America than, you know, in Ireland. And I probably even prefer, like, California than over places in Canada or whatever. But, yeah, it's just... It's a bit mad there. It's a bit hard to explain, but put it this way, it makes the Irish junkies look like saints because over there, they are on a completely different level. I remember one time, like, I was just, you know, on my way to work. I was a little bit late, so I was like, right, I have to get my stuff together, have a quick bite to eat, get ready, get dressed quickly, walk out the door, you know, go out the front gate, and there's, you know, a fella there taking a shit in the bin, and he's just looking at me, making eye contact, and I'm just like... Okay. And then there was another time I seen a fella like completely naked in the bin, like rooting things out and take one thing out and he'd be like, oh, look at that, man, I'll take that. I mean, what's the story with the bin, man? I mean, just go McDonald's or something. But to get to my point, you do have to be, you know, wary of what goes on there. You have to be cautious because you can't go over there with the sort of Irish mentality of, you know, getting absolutely hammered and going out and having a great time. Well, actually, you can, but, you know, you can do that, but you just have to be a little bit more careful about it. Like, instead of having 75 drinks, have 72, and instead of having, you know, 26 glasses of wine, have 23. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. That's good advice. You know, again, you should be a lot more conscious of, like, the laws they have there as well. For example, jaywalking is a really serious thing there. I mean, I know people who've actually been fined for breaking red lights and stuff, so that's something you need to be careful of. Of course, here in Ireland, it's like fucking, you know, you need a ice cream or a chicken fillet roll, it's grand, just break all the red lights, get there as quick as you can. But here, or in America, you cannot do that. Like, you need to, you know, obey the lights, all that stuff. And so my last point, ladies and gentlemen, is just to enjoy it. Just make the most of this occasion. This is, you know, looking back at my J1 last summer, I don't think I cherished it as much when I was there, you know. Like, looking back, I think, like, oh, I don't have any regrets or anything. I wouldn't change anything. But looking back, I wish I could, like, relive certain moments. So when you are there, make sure you make the most of it. You enjoy it. you do as much as you can, you go out as much as you can, you know, don't sit in on nights in when there's other opportunities to do stuff, when you have money to do stuff. You know, go out during the day, do stuff that, you know, again, you can do without money. For example, going to the beach, going for walks, going for runs, going for jogs, doing all that stuff, and you will just make more of your whole time on this J1. So, you know, for example, when you come back to Ireland, it's just not the same. Like, you know, going up to Mace, Jacinta's getting pissed off at me because I have to pay for a chicken fillet roll with 5 cents, but like, it's all I have, do you know what I mean? And just people miserable, they're doing the same thing, and it's, you know, people just seem to just be in the same place they were when you got home. So, you know, this is your opportunity to get out to America, to experience something, to live the dream of beaches, women, weather, just absolutely everything that you would hope to have in life is right there in front of you for one summer. There's no reason for you not to do this. I mean, for a lot of the J1 stories that happened to me, I mean, I'd probably need to make like a separate entire video to explain that, and maybe I will one day, but like, there's so much that happens there. It's just, it's unbelievable. Like, it's the best experience probably in my life so far. I have no fucking clue what he's doing. So I believe that pretty much wraps it up. They have been my 4 main points that you should hear before going on a J1 that you should factor in. Of course, there are some more like legalities and stuff. I didn't really want to talk about like all the little user requirements and all the requirements and stuff like that. I just kind of wanted to talk about like my experience and what I felt I wish I had have heard, you know, before going on a J1. For example, bring more money with you, have your wits about you, you know more people, get to know more people, text more people before you go over so you can cut your costs. And then the last thing was just to really, really enjoy it, like just really, really soak in every moment. I mean, I think back to when I was in America, I never had any really worries there, but there were certain worries I might have had. And fair enough, you're in a foreign country, that can happen. But like, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it, do you know what I mean? Just enjoy it. Have a great time. Have a bottle of wine with a bowl. Actually, no, get a cup. I think they're better with cups. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to be that. If I've anything left to say, so I'll see you when I see you.